So can we have a short introduction so everybody can understand each other and know each other? Let me know something about your professional life and the way you are serving your country by in safety profession or in any other department. So let's try to understand each other. Then we can facilitate and have a better understanding because this NEBOSH IGC now, as per the new OBE trend, like open book exam, and the way we have to study is entirely based on scenarios, like practical scenarios or the challenges we every day face at our job, and we resolve them. Like so, we have to be very much practical now. And of course, it would be depending how we're gonna write. Like if we resolve something, so how we are going to report actually. And it's not like bit of a theory that you can memorize and move on. That's why we all have to share our experience, and we truly need to make this training very much interactive. So as a first step, let's introduce ourselves. May I know something about Mr. Abdul Aziz Harbi, please? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdulaziz Harbi. I'm a senior HS technician working for HS compliance, and I think all the members here are our team, as they can see from the names. So they know me very well. I have experience being in operation for like 6 or 5 years. Then I joined safety for like 7 years. I have a mechanical engineering background. In 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, I will be graduating, inshallah.
MashaAllah, inshallah. Allah Kareem.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
That's it. Thank you.
Excellent, MashaAllah. Thank you very much. And now I have AAB. I don't know what is exactly the meaning of the abbreviation. So can you just introduce yourself, please? You know, your name must be like Abdul Aziz Al Harbi clearly mentioned his name while joining this session.
I will tell you the secret behind it, Habibi. أول شيء السلام عليكم and good morning all. And AAB, it stands for Ahmed Abdurrahman Bukhari. This is like a nickname since I was in the intermediate school.
Okay.
Yes, so this is why I keep it with me so far.
Excellent. So it's kind of your brand name.
Yeah, maybe you can see it in the future as a brand name. You don't know, huh?
Inshallah, Allah Kareem, because since you guys have a great vision, especially as per your 2030 vision, so I'm expecting AEB brand in future, for different products maybe. Excellent.
Yeah. So this is
okay. Yes, Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Mari, please. Let me just ask to unmute. Can you just introduce yourself? Yes, please. Anyone else voluntarily want to introduce himself?
Yes, my name is Mohammed Al-Ghamdi. I'm a HNS technician. I started my career in operations as a outside operator, and then joined safety. Now I'm with safety almost 8 years. So they have. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Next, please. Anyone else?
Good morning.
Yes.
To you and to all. My name is Hamid Al-Amri. I work as a HNS technician for compliance HNS. I have, like my colleagues, both operation and HNS experience. Thank you.
Excellent, Marshall. Excellent. Yes, anyone else, please?
Yes, good morning. This is Yusuf Mahsoon. I work as a senior EHS technician. As my colleague Abdulaziz said, we are for compliance. I work for hydrocarbon and energy.
Brilliant, mashallah. Brilliant. So it's truly a good news for me as a trainer that you guys are already working in HSC. So that training is going to be more fruitful, inshallah. The reason is we all can facilitate and of course share our experience to clear out plenty of concepts, especially as per NEBOSH theories and whatever they are expecting us to write, especially in the exam, to giving some sort of answers. But to be very honest, if you are experienced, like you have 7 years experience or 6 years or 8 years, this NEBOSH exam or kind of understanding shouldn't be an issue for you. Even the fresher one, we need to put a lot of energy to make them understand what is all about this safety standards or safety policies or procedures or plenty of formats, whatever we use actually to comply with local or international standards. And that's why to be very honest, this training, I will try my level best to put a lot of experience into it. Like I'm working for the last 19 years as a safety trainer, as an auditor, as a management consultant, and luckily been working with more than 100 different brands, especially Saudi Aramco, Saudi Electricity, even a lot of trainees I have in Sadara, like in your own company as well, especially for Aramco trainings. And most importantly, really been serving to Royal Commission, especially for their Yumbo project, especially for delivering OSHA trainings and plenty of others. So I will try my level best, all my practical experience, starting from 1999, especially to onward, but 2001 was my real career started with one of the oil and gas company in Pakistan, Islamabad. So, it's a game of all practical scenarios, the case studies. So please, let's remove our shyness, our hesitation. Let's remove our professional status also for next 10 days or 12 days. So let's discuss openly, and understand in real sense of safety. Might be you can teach something or share something new, or might be you can get something from my side. But we truly have to make this training effective. Ultimately, your goal is quite clear, but still, since we have one open, kind of open forum discussion or open discussion time frame. So I would ask one question to all of you, but before that, see the calendar. We have 12 days, like starting today, day 1, on 10th of October, and then up to 14th of October, 1 week. 15th and 16th, we'll have weekly off, and starting back again on 17th of October to 21st of October, that would be our last day of training, inshallah. So we'll start training at 10 o'clock, like we started today, and we'll wrap up at 12 for a 30 minutes break. And we'll start back again at 12:30 up to 3:30. We'll wrap up the session, inshallah. And since we have 4 elements, so I'll try my level best, to clear the theory as quick as possible, so we can discuss maximum about scenarios to be well prepared, especially for the NEBOSH OBE exam, inshallah. So for day 1, since it's open discussion, and I hope you all will be honest with all your discussions, so I have a very straightforward question. Why do you need the NEBOSH IGC training? Since you have six years experience, 7 years, 8 years, why you still need this NEBOSH IGC certification or kind of training? Any voluntarily, you can highlight your comments, please, or you can put in the chat box as well. It's up to you. You want to speak or you want to put your comments in the chat box? It's your own decision.
Well, can I start first?
Yes, please. No problem.
So the goals for me to have a NEBOSH is to align my experience as in safety, so aligned with the standards, like a global standard. So I will have both my experience and also the standard, so I can join them together to get the output in professional way as an HS expert.
Excellent, mashallah. Excellent. So how would you elaborate, like what is your vision to join safety profession? What was like, either you joined 6 years before, 7 years before? What were your vision, why you joined this safety profession? A bit of a personal question might be, but still if you I would be happy to hear your opinion.
If you leave this, if I may excuse to answer this question, to leave it for other colleagues like Yusuf.
Okay. Okay. So because vision is very much important, in our life individually or even in our professional business life. So without vision, it's really hard to define our goals or KPIs or kind of achievement plans even accordingly.
You said honesty, so honesty is the best policy. I was not. It was not an option. I joined safety not by choice, but then I start to like it. So yes, my still the vision now is to understand more safety and to keep people safe. That's my vision, and I don't have
Excellent.
more to say.
Excellent, brilliant. Any other one, please? Why do you need this Nebosh IGC training?
It's required by the company.
Yes, please.
It is required. They put it as a requirement, minimum
As a
requirement.
requirement, all HR publications, mostly job oriented, they always mention we need Nebosh. Sometimes even they don't write Nebosh IGC or Nebosh PSM or Nebosh IFC or Nebosh, so sometimes they just mention Nebosh, not clarifying which Nebosh they required actually.
Since we are here, what is the difference between general certification and diploma?
Actually, this is, before you go for diploma or international diploma for this Nebosh international diploma, much better is to complete your IGC, because IGC is kind of a foundational requirement, to move on for Nebosh diploma. But I noted some of the people, they get another track, like they'll complete another qualification, might be from some accreditation bodies, and then move on for Nebosh diploma. Some guys, they will do ASP, American Safety like profession, so they will complete that one and they'll move on for Nebosh diploma, and somebody will go for some other accreditation bodies, to complete like in line with that. But if you really want to go with the Nebosh qualifications, the much better is complete your IGC, then move on for Nebosh IDC. And the good thing about Nebosh IDC, that should also be your kind of goal, I would say. And once you will complete Nebosh IDC, that guarantees that you are the ready person for as a safety manager at corporate level. You can develop policies, you can write some procedures, you can guide people well as an internal trainer even. You can be the best safety auditor as well, because that qualifications will give you more better chances to grow up. Even the market, like if you want to work with us as a trainer, it is again foundational requirement, because we will send your IDAP or Nebosh IGC some certification to Nebosh UK, and they will approve you as a trainer as well. So that means more better secured future you're gonna have, because ultimately our goal is to grow, our goal is to be more productive for our community, for our business community. So this is kind of a journey. And some people, they love to do, what, instead of Nebosh IDIP, they will go for CSP, like American qualification. So we have basically two important domains. Either we mostly the hiring publications, like they're going to mention, okay, we need Nebosh IGC or Nebosh IDIP, and now they started mentioning we need ASP or CSP certified. So if American brands are there, they will enforce more on American qualifications. But if generally overall as a global brand like Nebosh also have a lot of authority in the market or credibility, so mostly people, they love to have Nebosh qualifications. But in both way, a time will come, nobody will ask your piece of papers, write my words even today. A time is coming, everybody needs your real effective skill set instead of just piece of papers. Yes, as an evidence, as a gateway, we need to show, look, I'm not only experienced, this is kind of professional qualifications also I have. Like you have done engineering degree or something like that. Imagine if they don't issue you a engineering degree as a paper, as a certificate. So it would be hard to prove. So as an evidence, as an objective evidence, this is our need. But ultimately, as a businessman, we required the right person for the right job. That is why all big brands, they started, they stopped asking actually, what are your degrees? They started asking, what are your key skill sets? Because for resolving my business issues, these are the skills I'm looking for. Like, I need one skill as a safety professional from all of you. I don't want to see any accident. I don't know what you're going to do. As per your experience, you are the right person for us. So just prove it that you can implement all safety policies, procedures. And for this sake, we don't need any kind of certification, but still it's a hiring criteria. Mostly people, mostly HR managers. And trust me, what I personally noted, the HR managers, to be very honest, sometimes they don't know what is IGC or what is NEBOSH even stands for. I mean, you can also double check with your HR team, but they know this is the requirement whenever they want to hire any safety officer, technician, or supervisor, or even a manager, even a trainer, so they will write Nebosh IGC or kind of Nebosh. So I hope it will give you some idea how you can further plan your career in safety, inshallah. But sky is the limit. It's not like just you completed your IGC and the story is ended. Plenty of other, you can go up to PhD in safety, So it is up to your learning passion, how you want to. Like in my case, for the last 19 years, still I'm very much passionate learner. Now I have 379 certifications, but those would be considered piece of paper if I'm unable to execute or deliver something effective or implement as a consultant, especially. Like if I signed a project with Sadara, let's take an example for project number 999. So for that project, I need to prove that, all the compliance, everything is well implemented, people are well trained, and no violation is there, no unsafe acts or conditions, or number of injuries or near misses not there. It all depends how we execute, our knowledge, or we transform this knowledge in terms of real-time improvement at shop floor actually. And why people don't like safety professionals nowadays? This is another phenomenon. What I personally noted, even they have qualifications, but the moment they join the company, they are unable to bring any positive change or unable to create any sign of or kind of safety culture actually. So what I mean is, you have qualifications, but unfortunately no execution, effective execution skills. That you have knowledge, you have certifications, but unfortunately you are not a mind changer. You are not like a change ambassador. You couldn't bring any sort of excellent changes, which business community is always expecting nowadays. It's not like a formality anymore. Like previously it was a trend, the safety is a formality. Now people started realizing safety is a business continuity requirement. The more better safety system we have, more better quality, more better productivity, more better customer satisfaction, and most importantly, more better work environment, and also our brand goodwill in the market. So automatically more customers. So we can go more easily. Let me give you one example. Like you have one brand and you went to Saudi Aramco and you tell them, give me a project because I'm qualified. We have qualified people, but unfortunately we don't have any safety department. All other skill set they will ignore until they see who is your safety manager, who is your safety officer. That means not a single project you can get without safety department. So that is kind of a bidding requirement also. That means you can't start your business journey until you incorporate your safety requirements or kind of standards within your business plan as well. This is kind of a new journey, and that's why mostly the mega brands now they have open budget for safety, but single requirement: we need zero accident club, zero injuries clubs. We don't want to see anyone to be injured at our side or to be killed, even though in high hazardous industries 100% safety still is a huge question mark, I would say. but still they are trying their level best. They don't want to see anyone to be died at their side and damaging their goodwill. So that's why our VN, I don't know either ever you have thought what is my VN to join safety profession, but I can assist you to align up your VN actually. Our VN should be first of all to serve humanity, to serve the community in a way to keep them safer, even though our safety is also our first priority. But of course, as a role model, as a safety leader, uh, we have to think about, by heart, we have to think is kind of a ibadah, like saving one life, saving the whole humanity. That's our Quran said, right? So we just need to link up our VN in line with our Islamic principles or kind of rules and guidance, and then we'll get more spiritual energy, more physical energy, more mental energy also, and we'll never fed up. Even we're gonna busy for 18 hours or 20 hours serving people in safety, will not be fed up, because our VN is quite clear that this is kind of a best ibadah. It's not like only a money making profession. Money will automatically follow. The more excellence you get in HSE, the more better job offers you have, more better career opportunities you're gonna get, and money is not a problem, to be very honest. So, but if you work for humanity, you will get, I'm sharing my experience also. Like, but to be very honest, I consider safety like a ibadah. Genuinely, I consider it, and that is the reason, free of cost. Sometimes I'm teaching people. Sometimes I'm just, it's not like always the money. Like you just need to work for the sake of money, because money, Allah is razik, automatically come whatever you deserve actually, or whatever is written for you in the books of your luck actually. But yes, if your vision is quite big, automatically your goals will be excellent, mashallah. And based on your goals, definitely you can define wherever I'll be working as a safety leader, I'll make sure zero accident club. I'll make sure no violation to environment. I'll make sure no property damage, within my company. And even I'll make sure not only my company, even the neighbor companies, that because of my company operations, there shouldn't be any issue for my neighbor companies or even to nearby cities. If my company operations are releasing terrible toxic gases, so the whole city would be in trouble. So as a safety leader, I link my VN in terms of my goals also, and will prepare my KPIs and achievement plans accordingly. So I always encourage, either you are a fresher in safety or you are experienced, first of all, have a very clear, big vision why you want to join the safety profession. And sometimes I heard people say, oh, safety, nobody cares. Oh, safety, people love to take shortcuts. Nobody is hating us. Nobody is following safety rules. They hate us. Why they hate us? Because we are unable to convince, we are unable to sell safety properly. We are unable to change their mindset actually. We are unable to create a better safety culture. I told you, as a safety leader, we have to be the mind changer. We must have some level of convincing power. So people should listen us carefully and they should follow, they should try to follow, because no one is perfect. And let me give you one simple slogan. Whenever we sign any management consulting project, especially in safety, we implement one slogan: can you be the safety manager of your own area? Either you're working as a welder, as a painter, as a crane operator, or as a rigger, whosoever you are, can you be the safety manager of your own area or the process you are performing at this day? Maybe for 1 hour, maybe for 2 hours, maybe for 3 hours. So accept the ownership, accept the responsibility. And for that reason, we don't do sometime group level trainings. We have one-to-one counseling also to convince them that your safety, first of all, your major responsibility. I mean, as a safety leader, how we can save people for 24 hours? Can we watch them? Like if 12-hour shift is there, 43,400 seconds are there, 1%. And if we have 500 employees, on that particular project and 22 different nationalities. Everyone is unique, everyone is different. How are we going to make sure that we can watch them 24 hours or 12 hours? It's not easy. So what we really need is, we have to be the mind changer. If we really want to see a better housekeeping, if we really want to see that no PP's violation, no unsafe act, conditions are okay, and they are reporting also if something is terrible within their department, they are coming to us. Instead of we are policing them, instead of we are running behind them, that let us observe what is going wrong within your department. Instead, they should come, if they are responsible or they have some sort of self-realization, they will come to you. Oh, we are facing this problem. Mr. Safety Department, can you help us? Mr. Safety Technician, can you help us? So we are a supportive department instead of policing department. So this is kind of, to be very honest, the leadership we require in safety profession. That is why I started discussing what is your safety vision, what are your safety goals, and this is not relevant to your company. This is relevant to you as a individual, because it's not kind of a joke that you are working as a safety leader and accident graph is going up and up. More injuries, more back pains, more headaches, more absenteeism. Who would like you? Or no company required such a leader who can't bring any positive change. I hope you got the point. And Sadara is one of the mashallah, the great positive brand in the market. You are a role model, so I can understand how you are implementing and how you're gonna make sure that nothing will go wrong. But still 100% safety, I hope you have observed, it's a big question mark. Why it's a big question mark? Because janitor to general manager, everybody is unable to realize that my safety is my responsibility. Safety starts from me, safety starts from you. So I hope it will help you to go back and get some time and rethink and have a very positive, broad vision as a safety leader, inshallah. So anybody want to add something like or any unique vision you have for safety profession, or any suggestions you want to share with us so we can learn from each other? How do you convince people only for one word to report? How do you convince your employees? Every day in the toolbox meetings, safety meetings, everywhere we're going to tell them, oh, you have any issue, please report us. But they don't report. They hide a lot of things. So my question is, how do you convince them to report actually for one word? And how are you going to convince them shortcut is a long cut? Every time you can't be lucky. So I hope it will give you some food for thought, and you will have better, clear vision, inshallah. And then see Allah's blessings. So once you have clear vision for humanity, Allah will bless and help you. And then see the change within yourself also, inshallah. Now, let's talk about the NEBOSH IGC qualification overview. Basically, we have two units, IG1 and IG2. IG1 is all about management of health and safety. If I could be writing this NEBOSH theories, I would have mentioned leadership of health and safety, because this manager word is kind of a dominating phase. Oh, I'm the manager, I'm the boss. So this bossy culture is the biggest hurdle sometimes to improve or create safety culture. But yes, leadership and safety is more positive word, and leader means creating more leaders. So management of health and safety, that is all about IG1, unit 1. So one exam relevant to IG1, and the second is IG2, is all about risk assessment. You can go back and see what kind of existing risk assessments you have within your company. And then I will share one sample with all of you. And then you start comparing what is missing, what is new in NEBOSH IGC theories, and what is unique, or what kind of effectiveness you have within your risk assessment tools. Either you are doing through software or by using Excel sheet or manually. You can just go back, and with the sample what I'm going to share with all of you, you just need to compare, because risk assessment you surely have to pass. You surely have to pass risk assessment project. Then IG1 passing marks would be considered, and you'll get inshallah the rating with the better passing remarks. Instead of focusing on only IG1 and ignoring IG2 because you know how to do risk assessment. But yes, you know how to do risk assessment, but make sure it is in line with the NEBOSH theories. That's why I'll share one sample also, inshallah. And there is assessment, like assessment type. Open book examination is kind of a 4 hours, and practical assessment we have 3 hours. Like IG2 is all about risk assessment of your own company, of your own processes. Modes of study, you actually you have chosen this e-learning. So national learning hours, 50 hours or 62 hours. We have SCQF level 6 equal to RFQ level 3. So unit IG1, 5 credits, and unit 2 have 6 credits. So the more credits you have, the more better professional strength you get in the market. Now it's up to you. You want to do it in English or in Arabic. Different languages are there, but yes, English language little bit, must be there. Like, I'm happy you guys can speak English, so means you can understand also. Now, assessment dates on demand or standard dates are there. I'll share some standard dates in the next slide. So what are the qualification grades? The qualification grades is based on the result from unit IG1, like distinction. If you're gonna get 75% marks or higher, that means you have passed, mashallah, with distinction. So here I always motivate, especially to my all NEBOSH IGC students, please, in your target, set I'm going to achieve 100% marks in NEBOSH IGC exam, inshallah. Because since it's an open book exam, this depends on your research, your kind of logical strength, how you will understand the scenario, and how you're going to give the answers of each question. So if you give a better professional touch, more marks you will get, but your target must be 100%. It's not like only for the marks. Yes, we have to understand each and every word of NEBOSH theory, so we can have better professional strengths also in the market, especially within our companies. Otherwise, 65 to 74 marks means it's a credit, and pass means 45 to 64 marks. So there are some confirmed dates for OBE exams in 2021 and also 2022. I shared like on Wednesday, 1st December 2021. I hope you'll go for this date for your exam, or even you can move on to 2nd of February 2022. It's all up to you. And the same way all, but be ready. I believe as per your experience, the way I understood, you guys are excellent already, mashallah, since you are facing and resolving plenty of issues every day. So it shouldn't be an issue for you. So you can put target date like Wednesday, 1st December 2021, inshallah, and keep your target 100% to achieve it. But not only for the marks, if you will understand in a better way, even exam wouldn't be an issue for you, inshallah. So let's start. We have unit 1 is kind of introduction. 4 elements are there for IG1, like management of health and safety assessed by the question paper, or even now OB scenario based. Element 1, why we should manage workplace health and safety. The topic itself take us in different directions, because since we are working already as a safety leader, so we will start thinking why we should manage workplace health and safety. So if I ask this question to all of you, what would be your answer? Before we study NEBOSH theories, Let me understand what is coming in your mind. Why we should manage workplace health and safety? You know, the topic itself is giving us a straightforward understanding. Why we should manage workplace health and safety? Anyone voluntarily can put some comments, or you can speak up also. It's up to you. Anyone, please.
To save people.
Yeah.
To prevent injury and fatalities in the workplace, to make them more safe by following the standard we set.
Excellent, mashallah. But you know, you spoke this word, the standard. No, this standard, you know, we have now the pool of standards actually. And this pool is coming from government side, like from Saudi government. They are also talking about a lot of safety standards and requirements and regulations. And those are mandatory also, because otherwise legal violations, and legal violations are terrible danger zone, you know. So nobody should even think to go into that danger zone or to cross this line of fire. Now, the second standard, our customers, like if we are working with Saudi Aramco or Saudi Royal Commission or Saudi Electricity, like Saudi Electricity, they will share, oh, we have 5-star safety programs. So follow these standards, follow these procedures. If we work with Saudi Aramco, a lot of GIs, as per the nature of our project or the processes or the materials we are dealing with. So they will also give us plenty of standards and requirements. Now, a lot of standards from the international communities. Because of this COVID-19, now we are getting a lot of standards from WHO, from CDC, from the Minister of different global health ministries even. And most importantly, for our own choice, we also benchmark some international standards, maybe from ISO, International Standardization Organization. Like if we talk about occupational health and safety, we will go with ISO 45001. Is your company certified for ISO 45001? Is your company certified for ISO 45001?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. On what about 14001, environmental management system? Environmental management system.
Again, the number
14,001. Like we have 45,001 is occupational health and safety management system, and 14,001 environmental management system.
Actually, we are now under recertification. We already certified. Now we are under recertification.
Okay. So that means this is a good news, to be very honest, because through these standards, you will have a better structured approach. And a time will come, Aramco and all other brands, they're going to say, okay, since you benchmark global standards, so once you comply with global standards, automatically the Aramco or other customer requirements will be meeting up, you know. Just some technical specs and some technical areas will be there as per the nature of the processes or the products. And what about the 9001 quality management system? Is your company certified or still in process or in phase of recertification?
Yeah, it's already certified with
Okay. And do you have some API certifications from like American Petroleum Institute? You know, I would suggest you start taking some interest for these standards, you know. Whenever you get time, start reading these standards. We have a WhatsApp group, so I'll share these standards. Whenever you get time, you can have, better understanding what these standards are talking about. But if you benchmark these international standards, that means they are globally acceptable and, more better approach, more structured approach, more easier, to in line with your customer requirements, you will definitely, because whenever you will develop any procedure, you will mention international standard references, your customer standard references, even the local one. At the bottom, you can write down this procedure is complying these particular standards, Excellent, Marshall. Now, the second element is how health and safety management system work and what they look like. The second element, how health and safety management systems works and what they look like. So that would be our second element we will discuss in detail. And the third is managing risk, like understanding people and processes. Okay, and the last and the most important element is health and safety monitoring and measuring. Because sometimes we implement safety systems, but we don't monitor, we don't measure them actually. Right, like where we are standing.
Yeah, I think we lost your sound and you're lagging.
And now it's okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, now it's okay, but sometimes
Yeah,
there is some error in the voice.
Okay, so health and safety monitoring and measuring, that is element 4. So let's start with element 1. Why we should manage workplace health and safety? What I will do is I'll share this presentation with all of you. So whenever you get time, just refresh your knowledge, because since your exam would be on 1st of December, so I'll share this presentation along with the soft copies of the books also, IG1 and IG2, and some OB exams and the solved one as an example, just to have a better understanding how you will go with your OB exam, inshallah, to solve it properly. So these are some of the learning objectives. We will discuss the moral, social, and financial reasons for managing health and safety in the workplace. Before we discuss NEBOSH theories, what do you think, why these moral, social, and financial reasons are important to manage our health and safety in the workplace? Because mostly what we believe is business means the money, the profit, the bottom line.
Well, the moral and social and financial reasons, I think it's for people to accept your logic and your whatever safety requirement you are giving them, they have to accept it. So if you are not have skills for socially, or you don't have the moral, I don't think they will accept it, even if it's logic.
Absolutely, mashallah. And imagine if a company having a bad goodwill in the market, always there are terrible accidents or fatal accidents. Even the new employees or the upcoming employees, they will be in threat, and might be they'll not love to join that company. So your goodwill in the market, and also on the financial reasons, like like in Europe or in Western world, if anything happens to any employee because of your company operations, or any damage to the nearby community, millions of fine, from the government side, a lot of penalties, But in Middle East, since the knowledge circle is not as much higher, and people are not aware about their rights, or they don't know the right channels, where they can get their right, in terms of like we have insurance. Let's take an example of Saudi Arabia. We have GOSI insurance, right? If somebody, God forbid, died at our side because of a fatal accident, now it should be quite straightforward and easy to issue a check in response to the payment what we're gonna paying to GOSI every month for each employee. Automatically that check should come to our account. Okay, now since we have a very solid system in Saudi Arabia, I noted personally the check was received by the finance and accounts, and now they are not giving to the relevant employee or their families. Like if one guy, I still remember, his finger was cut and the machine, and the reason was the sensor was not working, and the maintenance guy, he mentioned that I'm very much busy on another machine, so don't have time to correct this sensor. So the supervisor, he gave him clear instructions to move on and don't stop the machine. Now because of this shortcut, God forbid, his finger was cut, and that case was filed in GOSI, and later on it was really hard to get back that amount what he deserved. Even I personally got involved, and later on I met with GOSI officials, and plenty of evidences and discussions went on, and then ultimately for 6, 7 or 8 months later we got 80,000 real check for that gentleman. That it's not his fault, that his fingers are cut, because the maintenance guys from the company side, they didn't do their job. The supervisor gave very terrible instructions to the guy, so he was bound to continue the machine, and that is why it has happened. But if logically it is proven that the employee was the guilty one and he didn't care, or he was the one taking some shortcuts, then of course things could be on another way around. So now how explain how health and safety is regulated and the consequences of non-compliance. So non-compliance means the legal violations or the customer standards violations. Of course it will have a terrible outcome for sure, and I hope we all understand. Now summarize the main health and safety duties of different groups of the people at work. We'll discuss about job responsibilities, but here I would mention one thing important. Imagine you have safety responsibilities, but no authorities. Can you do your job more effectively? Of course not. Now you have responsibilities plus authorities, but no required resources. Can you still perform your job effectively? Of course not. It would be really hard, because existing resources sometimes are insufficient. So you need required resources, appropriate resources. So what is the right triangle? Responsibilities plus authorities plus required resources, then is equal to accountability. If company is giving you responsibilities, they are giving all authorities relevant to that particular department or job or whatever, and then they also providing you the right set of resources. Now you can't give any excuses, because now you are accountable actually, because company have done their job, they have provided you everything. Now you as a safety leader have to prove that everything is in the safe zone. That is why we have to clearly understand what are the health and safety duties of different groups. And this question from each scenario you will get. For each exam, you will get this question. At some, other way around, they will ask either the responsibilities of that gentleman was being fulfilled, either it's a safety manager, whoever is discussed in the scenario. So that's why we will understand in more deeper what are the responsibilities of different groups of people at work. Now the last objective of this element 1 is explain how contractors should be selected, monitored and managed. Like Sadara's contractors, subcontractors selection process, or how you're going to monitor them and how you are managing them, and how you are disqualifying them also. I hope Sadara is issuing vendor ID to all the contractors, whoever they approved, and they don't approve until they are fully satisfied, like asking a lot of documentation, performing different meetings, and visiting the site of contractor, and make sure they are not playing with you at all. They have to prove that they are the right contractor for the right job. So let's talk about morals and money. Basically, health is a kind of absence of disease or ill health. These words itself is a huge challenge. Absence of disease or ill health. How are you going to make sure because of your company operations, no one is going to be sick? No one is going to face any terrible ill health, Now here, can I ask one question? Do you have, employees medical screening every year?
Yes, every year annually.
Excellent, Masha. And why do you do it?
To check if they have exposed or they are, or have some effect.
Because of?
Because of like noise or physical or chemical exposure.
Excellent, Masha. Now we have more like invisible enemies. This coronavirus is invisible enemy. H2S, colorless gas, terrible monster, again, invisible enemy. A lot of other toxic gases. So you never know. Even our welders, they have no idea what is coming in the air, what kind of fumes. Even abrasive blasters like for sandblasting, or even the spray painters, they have no idea. Those scientists, they simply sometimes ignore, like what is going in the lungs actually, or what is going in the air. So that is why it's very much important to have a safe working environment, and this is employer's responsibility also. But following safety regulations and safety rules, this is the responsibility of every employee. So if employers have responsibilities, then similarly, employees are also responsible for their own safety. They'll not do anything silly actually. Now, safety, the next word, safety, absence of risk of serious personal injury. How are we going to make sure if our rigging and lifting operation is going on, nothing would go wrong, no chance of, or negligible chances of personal injuries, or probability of any accident is very less because of your effective safety system for this particular process. Same way, if guys are doing excavation or they have some jobs in refinery or GOSP or some other, or even other oil rig site, how are we going to make sure that there isn't any chance of serious personal injury, or they are lifting something, or they are moving something, or they are driving a forklift even? How are they going to make sure there isn't any chance of personal injury? And the same way, the next word is welfare, access to basic facilities. I noted a lot of gaps in welfare, access of basic facilities, because I'm the safety auditor. So whenever I conduct some audits at the different sites, in the documentation, we are excellent, but on floor, things are entirely in a different shape. Like you can go back and see within, for Sadara employees or even for Sadara operations for their own sake, everything is perfect, mashallah. But double check what is the behavior of your subcontractors, your contractors, their employees, or the employees you hired through recruitment companies just as a temporary workers, and check their behavior, and you'll be surprised. Even one word, the behavior of Sadara employees or Sadara direct employees and the behavior of indirect employees, you will see this gap. Here you have Sadara, and here at the downside, you will see the behavior of your indirect employees. That is why it is very much important to understand how, what kind of basic facilities we are making sure, both level, whoever is coming, because the definition of employee is anyone working directly or indirectly. For your company, you have to consider like an employee, like an interested party, like your stakeholder. Like you can't say, oh, we are not responsible for the safety of our visitors or our customers or our whoever is visiting our company territory. We are not responsible for their safety. Will not give any safety induction, will not give any basic facility like toilet, like drinking water, plenty of other things. Now, one question for all of you: why might the management of an organization not consider health and safety to be a priority? I need your comments here, please.
When it affects the production, they will not consider as the health and safety priority.
Yeah. Why might management of an organization not considering health and safety to be a priority?
Some management, they will not consider it as a priority when it will affect the production of the company itself. So sometimes if the production being affected, they want to get as soon as possible to the normal operation to prevent lose.
You know, this operation department always is considered like a revenue department, and they hate safety department. They don't like safety department. And yes, Abdul Aziz Al Harbi, I totally agree. You know, they love to take shortcuts. And to be very honest, you know, in one of the Aramco theories I noted, they mentioned shortcut is kind of a human nature. Shortcut means you want to keep your boss happy unnecessarily. So you want to show your heroism to your boss to keep him happy. Look, I'm the fastest employee, you know. And it's a human nature to go home as quick as possible. And you know, the company nature is to save time, to save cost, to save some money, you know. And they also have deadlines, penalty clauses from the customer side. So they intentionally sometimes they, you know, they will call to even safety department, please close your eyes for 2 days or close your eyes for 4 days. Let us do the job as quick as possible. I totally agree. Thank you very much for giving this word shortcut. But the problem with the shortcut is we can't be lucky every time. The major problem with the shortcut. It's really hard to be lucky every time. That's why one smallest mistake, one simple shortcut sometimes creating catastrophic results on the project, you know, in shape of fatal accidents. Anyhow, these are some of the reasons, like health and safety competes with other management priorities like production of goods and services. Health and safety may be seen as an unproductive cost because we are the one going to convince them and teach them even at some level that safety is a business continuity requirement. It's a business growth strategical requirement. It's a foundation. It's not like operational cost. I mean, how come you can work without a safety system actually for your projects, and how customer can allow you? And also at some level, because of this cost, they ignore of legal duties and lack of care for staff welfare, focus on output and profit, profitability, like I told, the money making on the expense of worker well-being. They believe it's a waste of money, so cost to the business, taking short-term view. if you get one project from a general customer or a kind of an ordinary customer, and the same project you are getting from Saudi Aramco, are you going to get same money or no? Aramco will pay you more. And why they are paying you more? Because they want you to ensure, they don't want to compromise on 3 words. And those 3 words are safety, quality, and credibility. I repeat again, why Aramco pays us more? Because they don't want to compromise on safety, quality, and credibility. Because they know for the last 85 years or 82 years, how they have developed their brand globally. So they don't want to let anyone to damage their brand or eliminate their goodwill from the market, and it will ultimately affect their business also. And as an ethical responsibility, as a moral duty, they don't want to see anyone to be died at their site within their territory. That's why Aramco starts every meeting, everything, the first word is safety. So there is a competition also within the business for access to limited funds, unwillingness or lack of. Now, for these limited funds, since you all are working in the safety department, so can I ask one question? Do you have a separate budget sheet for safety? Like if I ask, do you have how much budget you have for 2021 in the accounts books? Or how much money you already have invested starting from 1st January 2021 until today? How much money you already invested just to comply with safety standards, to ensure safety everywhere within your company or at your projects? Do you have a separate safety budget sheet in the accounts books approved by the top management?
Yes, there is, but it's not accessible for everybody, but we have.
Excellent, excellent. I trust me, I'm happy. At least you have. Otherwise, mostly, no, we don't have. They will put safety cost maybe in maintenance account, maybe in somewhat, mixed with operation. So how come, like if I'm the safety auditor, I will ask, okay, prove me that you are complying with safety standards. So the first document you can show to the auditor, look, this much money we already invested just to comply with safety standards. So it's a great objective evidence also, and it will show, it's a sign of your top management commitment even for safety. It's a clear evidence. Excellent, mashallah. Unwillingness or lack of resources to devote to health and safety management. And also failure to perceive hazards in their operations. That is a terrible reason. Cavalier attitude to the management of risk, like careless, careless attitude to the management of risk. They believe it's kind of a waste of money, let our people do their experience. And sometimes the experienced people, they became overconfident. And overconfidence also lead to the shortcuts, Now, any other or similar reasons usually associated with a narrow view of business management or lack of humanitarian considerations, actually. So as a human being, we have to be ethically responsible not to kill anyone because of our company operations. Yes, as a businessman, we want to make money, but we should not make money by killing people, by damaging environment, by damaging the nearby communities, or even to our company property. So it's a business continuity requirement, but these are some of the reasons. We can list many more, Even one full book might be we can write on this particular topic, why management is not serious for safety. Now, the moral reasons for managing health and safety, look at the global stat, especially from ILO, International Labour Organization. International Labour Organization, over 350,000 work-related fatal accidents each year, huge number. 2.2 2.75 million work-related fatalities each year, 2.4 million fatalities from occupational diseases, 270 million accidents, and 160 million diseases a year due to work, and 4% global GDP is lost. Now imagine how much GDP we lost because of this COVID-19. Check the numbers even for Saudi Arabia and you'll be shocked. And I'm very much, proud to understand the seriousness of Saudi government, especially of Minister of Health, just for saving the life of people, either, and no discrimination, either you are Saudi or non-Saudi, everyone is equally important for them. And just imagine how much money they have lost by stopping different operations, locking, isolating people, blocking cities. I mean, just imagine, and how much economy shrinked up, but still, until today, their seriousness still have the same strength. Even they are getting more because they don't want to see even a single case within Saudi Arabia. And that shows your strong commitment. And the whole credit goes to the strong commitment of Saudi government, mashallah, the great officials of Ministry of Health also. And we must be thankful to them, to be very honest. The way they are managing, and now your economy, the Saudi Arabian economy is reviving back, inshallah. And just see the last few months profit of Saudi Aramco, one brand, $2 trillion, just they saved, price gone up because of this oil shortage, and so Allah is blessing now. If they have sacrificed, now Allah started re-blessing. The whole money they'll get within few weeks maybe. And the other countries, they are also struggling, but still humanitarian aids are going on, and they don't want to kill people because of this COVID-19 just for making money. So overall 4% global GDP is lost, but now because of COVID-19, maybe the percentage has gone doubled. Now it's kind of a group exercise. Take your time. In the chat box, you just need to list the possible effects and implications of accident, especially on the injured employee, company, and line manager. In the chat box, just you need to mention the possible effects and implications of this accident on the injured employee, company, and the line manager. So I would appreciate your reply in the chat box instead of speaking. So let's make some notes also. I really want to see how you write, because ultimately in the exam you have to type so many things. Even though it's an open book, you can research, you can find out the answers from anywhere, but still you have to type logically, in line with the scenario. So please take some time. You have 5-10 minutes with the same scenario. Just put some comments in the chat box. I'm waiting for your comments, please. If somebody has got injured, he will start feeling humiliation. I would have red spot on my professional career also. So that's why an anxiety, shock, and embarrassment is also there. And also you will see some kind of episodes of crying, loss of appetite, weight fluctuations, lack of energy, and plenty of other as per the nature of the accident. But anyhow, there are some direct and indirect costs involved, which especially the business community, they don't want to see any kind of cost. That's why they have safety leadership. That is why they have safety budget, because they want to avoid these direct or indirect terrible costs actually. But what is direct cost? What is indirect? Just remember, the measurable cost is considered the direct cost arising directly from the accident, and indirect is a consequence of the event, but many not directly involved money are often difficult to quantify. So this direct or indirect, again, you know, in line with the scenario, they can create a question, you know, in line with the scenario. Do you agree there are some direct or indirect costs because of this accident? If it is mentioned in the scenario. So now what is the examples of direct cost, or what are the examples of indirect cost? This is the question I'm going to open in the chat box. Can you give some examples of direct cost? As per your understanding, I'm not talking about bookish knowledge, whatever is coming in your mind, please. Examples of direct cost. I'm not expecting any bookish answer, but whatever is coming in your mind, you can write down examples of direct cost, which we call like measurable cost also. AAB, actually we are talking about the direct cost, not the cause actually. Yeah, it's cost. I'm talking about examples of direct or indirect cost, but we started with direct cost first. The examples of direct cost against accidents. Okay. Guys, can you be a little bit more specific? What are the direct costs? Like it is good someone like Abdul Aziz, mashallah, mentioned the insurance, you know, because more accident mean more insurance premium and more cost. And of course, you know, this medical expense or kind of rehabilitation expenses and plenty of other like compensations and payments. Yes, Abdul Aziz, absolutely right. Insurance companies, they will raise, and same way insurance company will raise the cost even in case of fire incident. You know, we have fire insurance also, fire safety insurance, you know, for our warehouses, for offices, for our sites, even for our. Okay, now let's talk about
an example of the indirect reason. It's like as you said, the company might be certified for ISO or whatever standards following. So whenever they have injury, that means they're breaking their record, then the reputation. So it will indirectly affecting the company, let's say, sales.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because the indirect cost mean your goodwill diminishing, you know, decreasing goodwill in the market and credibility, in other words. I totally agree. And then, you know, the satisfaction, no more better satisfaction with your customers. That means your business numbers will go down, and no business means what safety we are talking about. So first thing is we need to ensure our, you know, we need to make this safety system as a foundational requirement of our business success. That is why safety starts from the design also. You started incorporating safety from the design phase instead of the building is constructed and then you started talking about safety requirements. Excellent, mashallah. So indirect costs are, which one is more terrible, direct or indirect? What do you think? Which one is more terrible? It's a little bit silly question, but still I want to
Excuse
see
me,
your
sir.
comment.
I'm just wonder. You hear my voice? You hear my voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just need to clarify more.
Yeah,
I
please.
will give you an example and just let me know if I'm correct or not. Indirect, we're talking about direct costs, and once the event occurred, that's mean the insurance company will raise the price. There is
Yeah.
other company who land us to have more product or to do some sustainability in the company. They will raise the benefit. I think this is one of the direct. Indirect, it will affect the company reputation in the market, and the competition between others company, it will be less, not like before.
Excellent. Excellent, Marshall. And that's how you have to, and this is the best way even to convince our management why this safety is important, because sometimes businessmen always hear two things with more focus. One, the benefits. If you are capable to tell and convince them with the benefits of safety, they will start listening you carefully. Otherwise, the losses, the direct or indirect cost, or some hidden losses, in other words, or diminishing business projects actually in the market, they'll start listening you more seriously. The moral and social or some other, to be very honest, I always say now the new religion is invented, gain money and power by any means. So humans, stop thinking actually. Most of the companies, their focus is only money. And yes, if they will not make money, the fact is how the rest of the areas can function. So they have one excuse. That is why I say, okay, you make money, but not by killing people, not by damaging environment, or not by damaging nearby communities. So yes, so we must convince them through by giving some examples of direct and indirect costs. In the later stage, I will share some examples as per Nebosh theories also. Now, health and safety failure can affect the broader economy as well as individual companies. Now, let's identify some of the possible direct costs to an organization following an accident in the workplace. Since I will share this presentation with all of you, so you can have refresh understanding every time, whenever you get time. Like first aid treatment, sick pay, repairs to equipment, lost or damaged product, lost time, production time lost, overtime covered for the injured person, fines and criminal code, and compensation payment to victim. These are some of the examples of direct costs. Now, identify possible indirect costs to an organization following an accident in the workplace. First of all, the investigation time, because every individual have a monthly salary. So we are paying them for every second. So investigation time, the more investigation time means more terrible cost for sure, which we need to calculate in shape of money. Now, lost employee morale and also cost of additional control measures, compliance with enforcement notices, cost of recruiting and retaining additional employees, like for cover, damage customer relationship, and damage public image, the credibility. And of course, if your credibility is going down and down, God forbid, your competitors are going to lead, so they'll surely be ahead of you just because you couldn't manage your health and safety system effectively. But bear in mind, the insured cost and uninsured cost must also be understood by the company management, especially the insured cost. We have fire, work injury, death, medical cost. These are insured costs, but of course we pay monthly, to the relevant companies, either for fire insurance, either to GOSI or some others even. Uninsured costs is a loss of raw materials due to accidents, sick pay, overtime, equipment repairs, and lost materials. Like insured cost is $1 and uninsured cost, look at the number actually. So normally our human tendency is we see the visible cost mostly. But what about the hidden cost? That should also be calculated in terms of money. Like you must calculate, because of this terrible accident, how much your sales gone down and calculate in numbers, because businessman or the finance department always they talk about numbers. So you also calculate in numbers. Let's take an example of this Makkah incident. This tower crane, and how much loss faced by Bin Laden, and still a terrible consequences. So they can calculate in shape of money, like how much money they were making before that accident, and right after the accident, how much business they lost. That should also be calculated in numbers actually. And then, we learn more effectively with these numbers actually. So that's why the top management will be more committed. They don't want to see this accident again and again. So they will start supporting you actually. But still it's a reactive approach. Still it's a reactive approach. Like something happened and we started getting serious everywhere, But what is the proactive approach? Before that accident happened, your system should be in place, that the probability of these accidents should be controlled through risk assessment, through like all your near misses are being reported. Every day you have safety inspections. You are having some lagging and leading indicators in advance, but don't rely on lagging indicators. Better to rely on the leading indicators. Of course, the lagging indicator would also be helping, but you must rely mostly, focusing on the leading indicators to be achieved. But know what is lagging and leading indicators? Anyone have an idea? If someone want to add here, like if someone says, oh, what are your leading indicators related to safety? So how are you gonna give some examples, or how are you gonna elaborate actually? I repeat again, two types of indicators, lagging and leading. Okay.
Okay, well, let's say lagging, it's something that it will show you like a broadcast or where you are going in the future. And leading, which is something it's like current, measurable, like what is going on right now.
Okay.
This is like in short or summary.
Lagging means we like a recordable injuries, we mentioned, So recordable injuries means you are learning from your mistakes, you are learning from your failures, you are learning from your accidents, you are learning from your near misses even. Yes, near misses, there is a huge debate. Is it a leading indicator or a lagging indicator? What is your opinion on it? This near miss, is it a leading indicator or lagging? Yes, please.
For the leading in our company, we consider it as a leading.
As a leading.
For lagging, as you said, like the TRIR, so it's a lagging.
Okay. So in Sadara, you are using it as a leading indicator.
Yes.
Okay. But itself, near miss means something fall down, something happened already. So that means if something has happened already, so you are learning. You are learning from that incident, even though no property damage, even though no human loss, no injuries, but still something happened because of unsafe act, because of unsafe condition, whatsoever the reason. So you are learning from. So itself, near miss itself is a lagging indicator, but we take it as a leading indicator because we, since we didn't face any loss, so we take it as an opportunity to further improve, for further improvement. So the biggest room in the world is the room for further improvement. So near misses basically is a sign of, is an opportunity to improve further. So in that context, I agree if you have in leading, but mostly companies I noted, they put it in the lagging, indicator, because what they believe is something happened, even though we are lucky, but we can't be lucky every time. So we have to learn. We have to learn from this near miss and take some corrective preventive action so nothing will happen. Even that near miss would not happen again, So in that context, of course, they take it as a lagging indicator also. That's why I told there is a big debate between this near miss.
So let's say, sorry for interruption.
It's okay.
What NEBOSH says, what is lagging and leading? Is misleading? So in terms of NEBOSH, what NEBOSH is recommending?
No, actually NEBOSH is saying leading means proactive and lagging means reactive. That reactive approach means something would happen, then you will learn something. And then you will define your, like by looking at your previous data, your accident record, your injuries record, your first aid reporting, your, some kind of your inspection daily, your audits reports even. So you get help from your history, from your data, and then you define your lagging indicators. But leading indicators, you are very much proactive. You do risk assessments and proactively, based on your risk assessments even, you started establishing your leading indicators because you don't want to see any incident or accident, or you want to reduce the probability or the possibility of incidents, by having leading indicators. And based on the leading indicators, you don't rely on your existing controls. You always become like innovator. You always thinking what other additional controls we can put in place, what other new better changes we can put in place, so less chances of incident will happen. Let me give you one example. One of the company, they gave us a project. They were facing some hand injuries, they were manufacturer of plastic cups for McDonald's, for Starbucks, for several other brands operating in Saudi Arabia. So the challenge was most of their data is showing hand injuries on the machines. Now they gave us a project. Look, Ishtiaq, we want a machine which will have 0% possibility of hand injuries. Now it's a challenge, right? Because they put in place the leading indicator that in future, even though they learned from their accident, the lagging indicator was belonged to the previous machines. How are we going to make sure nothing would go or the reoccurrence will not be there? But they created a leading indicator. Whenever we will buy new machine, we will not buy directly. We will have third party. We will send them to the manufacturer. They will make sure. So, for this project, even the company, I personally went to Michigan, USA, and in my presence, I make sure all sensors, devices, even the guards, even I thought, suicidal attempt as well, intentional suicidal attempt shouldn't be possible as well. So even we covered that machine from the top also, even that area was also sensorized. So we make sure intentional or unintentional, whenever somebody is going to try something with that machine should stop. And until today, I have the good news from the same company, no hand injuries. From that machine number 1, what we purchased, and later on they purchased another one, then another one. So what they're trying, removing old machines, bringing new technologies. And that is the reason we have artificial intelligence or robotic technology. And we are eliminating human resource, or we are eliminating human brains from the high hazardous processes where more chances of fatalities are there because of human error. So what we are doing is we are removing humans from the high hazardous processes and bringing latest technologies. And see, you can have some case study only for Saudi Aramco, even your Sadara, how much new technologies you are adopting. And you are eliminating, not relying on human brains, especially in your high hazardous processes. So I hope it will give you an idea how sometimes, and now one of the project in UK, let me mention that one also. The challenge was from the first process to the end process, we don't want any human to be involved. And they were a manufacturer of paper cups, So from the first process until the, stacking on the racks even, they don't want to see any human except the computer. Somebody is controlling from the computer, like 2-3 people. And luckily, this project until today is very much successful because no human means no chance of injuries. Even many restaurants, they started relying on robots, Why we are eliminating human from different processes, even though the consequences in shape of unemployment, in shape of so many other things are still there. But yes, as a businessman, they realized by killing, because of accident, one gentleman died on our side, our brand is over. And brand goodwill gone mean it's all over. Because brand mean is a trust. And trust once broken is broken forever. That is why the global brand, they became very much sensitive. And they are always in research and development, and bringing new technologies and optimizing their operational processes, and making sure even zero chance of injuries or zero chance of fatalities, even though 100% safety is a big question mark, but still they are achieving that target also, because we all believe that nothing is impossible, right? So I hope it will give you an idea. But yes, more innovation, more budget, more huge amount of money you required, and again, convincing top management for investing more money is another element to be considered. Now, can you just mention what are the 3 main reasons for managing health and safety, please, in the chat box, since you have studied the first part of the first element, 1.1. What are the 3 main reasons for managing health and safety? Can you mention the chat box? 3 main reasons for managing health and safety, please. Three main reasons for managing health and safety, since we have studied in the presentation. So just a memory test. Do we remember what are the 3 main reasons for managing health and safety? Can you reply in the chat box, please? I hope you're not sleeping, because mostly online training is hard to sit for several hours. But we'll take break, inshallah, after 22 minutes, inshallah. Yes, safe environment of work. 3 main reasons for managing health and safety. Safe environment of work, Mr. Muhammad Al-Gam, basically, this is a kind of responsibility. Like an employer is responsible to ensure, to implement a safe environment of work everywhere within their organization, So it links with kind of, yes, like Mr. Abdulaziz mentioned, like moral reasons. Excellent, mashallah. What are they? We studied, 3 reasons. Even though it's an open book exam, so it's not easy. It's not difficult. We can easily research and put and type, but still no harm to check our memory. Moral reasons, financial, and one is left. Integrity reasons. Okay, so moral, financial, and our answers must be in line with Nebosh theories actually. And Nebosh, they like their vocabulary. Exactly. The instance, so legal. Excellent, Marshall. So legal. So we have moral, financial, and legal reasons. So 3 reasons for managing health and safety. Brilliant, Marshall. Now, can you help me to fill in the blanks, like what should an employer provide to ensure health and safety? What should an employer provide to ensure health and safety? What should an employer provide to ensure health and safety? So safe place of work, Excellent, AAB. Brilliant, mashallah. The second, safe plant and dash safe plant and operation or equipment or machinery or what? Like AEB mentioned the operation, safe plant and operation. Okay. Later stage, I'll mention, what is exactly expected from NEBOSH, Okay, safe people of work. Yes, Muhammad Al-Gamji, thank you for your reply. Now, number 4, training dash and competency of dash. Training dash and competency of dash. Training execution, okay, Hamad, you mentioned training execution and competency of, okay, training skills and competency of worker. Okay, brilliant, mashallah. But anyhow, note down safe place of work, because this is everybody's first of all responsible for health and safety, but most of the responsibility lies with the employers to provide safe place of work. This is if any question you get in line with the scenario, you have to remember at least these major 4 responsibilities of an employer and see either within the scenario the employer have fulfilled their responsibilities, yes or no. If they didn't feel, argue with that. Oh, in line with the scenario, the employer didn't fulfill these responsibilities. So you start writing different stories, but in line with the scenario as per the question also. Like if the question is, what are the responsibilities of employer? Have they filled their responsibilities in line with the scenario? So your answer must be in line with the scenario. So you have to reread the scenario and see either within the scenario all responsibilities of employer are fulfilled or something is missing. If something is missing, make sure you debate, you write down, yes, employer have fulfilled several responsibilities, but unfortunately missing the below responsibilities as per NEBOSH theories, as per OSHA, as per ILO, as per WHO, whatever. So you have to give that reference also. So safe place of work, safe plant and equipment, safe systems of work. And the number 4 is training, supervision. Training, supervision, and competency of staff. So since I'll share this presentation with all of you, so inshallah it wouldn't be a problem. Anytime you can search, you can find out, and it will help inshallah to complete your exam more easily, inshallah. Okay, so element 1.2, the second part of element 1, regulating health and safety. How are we going to regulate health and safety? So in the first 1.1 element, if we summarize, we discuss about the moral reason, 3 reasons of safety. We discuss about different kind of employees' responsibilities. We also discuss a lot of importance of safety standards, and most importantly, we also discuss plenty of scenarios, examples, and also the responsibilities of we as a safety leader. So now in the 1.2, we are going to discuss regulating health and safety. Now, since there are legal reasons for managing workplace health and safety, so most countries have health and safety laws. Like I mentioned earlier, we have local legal safety laws and we have global safety laws. Failure to achieve legal minimum standards can lead to prosecution. Any violation in safety can be prosecuted if it is reported to the relevant authorities. Like in USA, if any violation is there from employer side, employee is fully authorized and responsible to report directly to OSHA, which is the legal government level labor department of USA. So they can report to OSHA, and OSHA will start investigating and see how they have to prosecute the employer if they found guilty, or how they have to satisfy to the complainant, whoever complained about that or about their employer actually. Now, the international framework is there, ILO, like International Labour Organization. These standards are also globally acceptable. Mostly all the countries are member states of ILO. And remember, this is the agency of United States. Most countries are members, sets international standards for health and safety by publishing conventions and recommendations. So CR, they have conventions and they have recommendations. Now, if you write any answer against any question in line with the scenario event, if you take something from ILO theories through your research, any convention or any recommendation, like, oh, what are the responsibilities of employer? You don't want to write NEBOSH theories. You want to highlight ILO, in the standards of ILO, what are the responsibilities of employer? So then you have to give the reference, convention number this or recommendation number this. As per this convention of ILO, following are the responsibilities of employer, which are fulfilled or which are not fulfilled, in line with the scenario again. Yes, Abdulaziz, thank you very much. SC, IS for local and KSA. And I would appreciate if in the WhatsApp group you can share these local standards, because I will also share a lot of conventions and recommendations, plenty of different standards, even some standards for HSE UK, some standards from ILO, some of these standards from ISO. I'll be keep sharing. So if something you have, mashallah, so just keep sharing. So this is how we can be.
Excuse me, Ishtiyaq.
Yes, please.
Is it acceptable, like an exam, to use our local standards, like the HIS, and for the Royal Commission, RACER?
Yeah.
So can we use this local standard in the exam?
Thank you very much for this important question. It's very much important question. We have local standards and we have global standards, and global standards mean globally acceptable, globally respected. No harm to, even you can go back and see your local standards. Somewhere they are based on some international benchmark standards. They are the highlights of some of the clauses, some of these standards, maybe from OSHA, maybe from ILO, maybe from WHO, maybe from API, maybe from ASTM, maybe from some other regulatory bodies. So what I mean is, all your standards somewhat are based on international standards. So what is the right strategy? You give your local standard reference, no harm to it, but the much better approach is give the reference of global standard. Even if you give local, it would be acceptable, but will not be having more authenticity than the global standard reference. So this is the only because I noted people give local references, they give international references. You can give my reference also, as per Ishtiyaq Rana, the global safety trainer. This is what is, but either it is acceptable to NEBOSH, yes or no. Here we have to focus, So if something is globally acceptable, it is more reliable. We can give that reference and relax that things will go in our favor, inshallah. But yes, Saudi Arabian standards, they are the highlights of international standards. They are not, something entirely different, or I would say similarity is there. You just go back and study any local standard, you will find a lot of similarities. You go to SASO standards, you go to civil defense standards, you will get highlights of NFPA, National Fire Protection, Association of USA. You study some pipeline safety standards, you will get API, American Petroleum Institute, some standards, highlights. You check some regulations, local safety regulations, and you will get some insights from OSHA regulations. So what I mean is, nothing is, something different from the international standards. But some uniqueness is there as per the culture, as per the mindset of our, Saudis or non-Saudis. So they have some regulations from their own side also, as per the culture of, as per the mindset. But since personally as a trainer, I would recommend much better is to give the standard reference which is globally respected or globally acceptable. But with that one, you can give reference of your local standards also. But you have to prove it should be traceable, It should be traceable. It must be traceable. If traceability is not there, that is something entirely. That is something entirely, questionable actually. Whatever reference you are giving, it must be traceable. Because the NEBOSH examiner, he will trace, he will check your reference, Maybe not all, but some of the references he will verify. Even we as an institute, the moment we will have interview, because once the exam is done, you submitted your papers, now they will come to us. So we will conduct one interview. So even within that interview, we will verify, first of all, it is your own work, it is your own research, and also the references, whatever you gave, you understand that standard also, that it's not like something from here and there. But yes, Saudi standards are very much respectable, but make sure you also give some references from the global standards to make your answer more authentic, more effective, because ultimately our goal is to achieve 100% marks also. So no harm to give, because maybe one answer references Saudi standards, reference also you can find from ILO, reference also you can find from Health and Safety Executive of United Kingdom, might be you can find some reference from OSHA even. So no harm to give all these references for your answer. And the more authentic references you have for your answer, trust me, you'll be rocking inshallah, and see the result inshallah. But it shouldn't be copy paste. It shouldn't be like copied from the work of others. Make sure you can prove this is your own work actually. Because many students I noted, someone is lucky that someone else, have done their exam and they got passed. But now, because of deep checking and a lot of IT is involved here, so they have research like NEBOSH is finding the culprits, and now they're starting mentioning 2BA, TBA, or something like that, or because of malpractices, because of not proven that this is your own work. Maybe your paper is excellent, but in the interview, you couldn't prove that this is your own work actually. A, B, to be very honest, 100% is Allah. But at least we can try. If we're gonna think, oh, 100% is not possible, our energies will go down. So at least, okay, let me be more straightforward. If your target is 100% and you achieve 95% or above, mashallah, consider you have achieved 100%, mashallah. Okay. I repeat again, your target must be 100%, but even if you achieve above 90 or above 95%, consider you have achieved 100%, mashallah. And you will be the first one, maybe in NEBOSH database. So be a unique brand, inshallah. Since we are doing hard work, we are sharing our experience. We are going in deeper and deeper. And I'll keep you busy through WhatsApp also. I'll be creating different scenarios. We'll be discussing. I'll not let you sleep until you achieve, inshallah. And this is a habitual habit of mine, as a trainer also. So make sure you are going to achieve maximum marks, inshallah, because you have the experience also. So break time. Thank you very much, Muhammad. You are so kind for me, to be very honest. Otherwise, speaking, how much someone can speak and how much you can listen also. So take your 30 minutes break and then come back. Right now we have 11:55. So come back at what time you'll come back? 12:05 is okay? Let's agree a time to come back. So at the same time, we'll be online again, inshallah. But it's a 30-minute, One, Any other opinion, please? Because from my office, I got a 30 minutes break permission, but since if we all agree, majority is always the winners. So if it's one.
Yes, Dr. Teacher. It's better to have it until 1 o'clock so we can pray and even have lunch.
Okay,
Yes, I
brothers.
agree with you.
I'll be waiting for you at 1 o'clock. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Welcome back after lunch and prayer break. So shall we start, or you want to wait for one another? Trainees need to attend, or so mashallah, since we started the session, and in your introduction you mentioned, mostly you are involved in compliance also, like compliance relevant to HSC regulations, local or global. So now let's take a look of regulations adopted by ILO, International Labour Organization, and especially relevant to occupational safety and health. And if you remember, we mentioned, they have two level of domains of the regulations. One is the conventions. Wherever you see the C 155, that means C stand for convention. And the second domain is recommendations, like R 164. It's relevant to occupational safety and health recommendation. Now the point is, there are plenty of other conventions and recommendations also. But as per our NEBOSH study for ITC, like International General Certification, at least these two, this convention 155 and recommendation 164 must be understood by us, so we can give a better reference, whenever we are writing in response to any question in our exam, we must be capable to give a reference, either some, like if there is an example of responsibilities of a safety leadership. So is there any article or is there any clause number within C55 somewhere mention the responsibilities of safety manager or safety leaders? So we can give that reference, and even no harm to share that link also. Same way the recommendation. Now, since you have internet, so it's a humble request if you can go back and Google up and find out the list of conventions, ILO conventions and recommendations. And appreciate if you'll share in the chat box by just copy pasting, so we can have a better notes available. List of ILO conventions, there can be so many, because C 155 most relevant to occupational safety and health, and there are several recommendations also, like R 165 is relevant to occupational safety and health recommendation. But what I mean is, let's prepare a list of conventions and recommendations, so it would make us easier to give reference, whenever we are quoting something, when we are referring against our any answer, we can give some solid reference also, because ILO means mostly globally acceptable. All states are almost members of ILO. So nobody would have any problem, if you give that reference. So can you just search, the list of conventions and recommendations of ILO and copy paste in the chat box. List of ILO conventions and recommendations. I'm not talking about only relevant to occupational health and safety, all recommendations. So let's see this big list. Thank you very much again, Mr. Muhammad, for mentioning all the fundamental conventions of ILO, including protocols. Now I'm talking about the references mentioned by Nebosh, actually, which we can give a reference in our exam sheets against our each answer. Either it can be from HSC UK or some of the references well defined and searched through Nebosh team members, so they can also be valid, you know. And through this, even you can go to nebosh.org.uk website and see and find out the references. Excellent, mashallah. Thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz. These are some of the examples of like HSG 65 is all about relevant to managing for health and safety and risk assessment. Great, mashallah. The same way, something from Nebosh. You know, it's good we are finding from HSC UK, from ILO, even we can find from OSHA as well. But let's see how Nebosh is helping us for referring some references actually. Do they have some list within their database, especially at their website? Because I told you, Nebosh loves to see their references, their vocabulary, their concepts to be mentioned in the answer, you know. Any references from Nebosh UK? And remember, these references, of course, will be helping to the tutor, like we also get helps from these references from Nebosh. And the same way, you as a learner could also get a lot of benefit, you know, from these references. That's why I asked this question. Excellent. So, yeah, Mr. Abdulaziz, it's much better if we can do it right now, because later on, I know after this class, maybe you'll be busy with so many other things. So let's do it right now. If there is any Excel sheet, share with all their members. So that is why I'm facilitating. I'm not here as a trainer. I'm just a facilitator, you know, helping to make sure we are learning from each other, inshallah. Excellent, mashallah. And you can share, you know, in the chat box, same way. Any Excel sheet is there, you can, and all other members, you can also download. This is a great help from Mr. Abdulaziz, mashallah. Because more solid references you're going to give in your answers, more better marks for sure you'll get, inshallah. And even more better understanding as a safety professional. Because if we will discuss anything beyond the standards or without reference, it would be horrible, I'm telling you. Anybody can challenge us. So better to get maximum references, like a lawyer, you know. The lawyer, they don't discuss anything without article number, legal article number 1, or clause number this, or, you know, legal book number this, whatever. Same way, we have to be so much intelligent, I would say, to give solid references in line with our answer, in line with our scenario, inshallah. Great, mashallah. So since Mr. Abdulaziz will share this Excel sheet, it would be more than enough to have some. Now, if you want to spend 1 or 2 more minutes, we can find out the OSHA regulations also. List of OSHA regulations relevant to occupational health and safety. That list also we can download or we can copy paste. We can do it in 1 or 2 minutes if you agree on it. You know, the more better references you have, the more productive meeting you can do with your top management, that you are not talking something irrelevant. Whatever you are suggesting to the company management, or you are recommending something that it should be done, then at least you can give reference. Oh, as per ILO convention number this, or as per OSHA regulation number this, or as per HSE UK, or as per WHO, or as per API. So the more better reference you're going to give, or even local standards, you know, Saudi Arabian safety standards, even Aramco GIs, the more references you're going to give, the top management commitment would be more easier to get in, inshallah. That is why I'm more focusing on this practice, you know, how to browse, how to search and find out quickly the solid reference, especially relevant to occupational health and safety. Okay, guys, I hope you got the idea. So take it as an hobby, or wherever you get time, just prepare the list of references or list of standards, you know, even your local standards, even Aramco standards, Royal Commission, Saudi Electricity, then move on to international, like your standards from ILO, standard from OSHA, standard from HSE UK, then even from WHO, same way from API, ASTM, or any regulatory body who's supporting us for standards, including ISO as well. Now let's understand the Article 16 of C 155, which is like identifying what is the obligations on the employers. So that means ILO Article number 16 of Convention number 155 also define the responsibilities of employers. Like some responsibilities we studied by NEBOSH theories. Now, from the other side, we are getting something from ILO as well, like ensure that workplaces, machinery, equipment, and work processes are safe and without risk to health. This is employer's major responsibility. It's kind of a legal responsibility. And what else he has to ensure? That the chemical, physical, or biological substances and agents are without risk to health when protective measures have been taken. That means all chemicals, including solid shape or in shape of liquid and in shape of gases, or physical or biological, all substances, they have to make sure are without risk, especially to health. And most importantly, protective measures have been taken. Now, provide adequate protective clothing. That is why we have SDS, safety data sheet. That is why we have CHB, chemical hazard bulletin, and Saudi Aramco. That is why we have TDS, technical data sheet, and plenty of other documentation to make sure, even previously MSDS, material safety data sheet. all 16 sections relevant to these substances are guiding us what kind of protective clothing we need to use, what is the flammability level of this chemical, or how much it is hazardous. And through colors and through numbers, it is guided to us. And that's called also HAZCOM. That is why hazard communication through labeling is important actually. And it makes us more knowledgeable how to tackle these hazardous materials actually. Now, the story not finished yet. Now, employees are also responsible. So, everybody is responsible for health and safety, but employer is particularly to provide, in response to, like they will be responsible if these 4 points are there, like safe place of work, well provided by the employer, safe plant and equipment, safe systems of work, training, supervision, and competency of staff. If these 4 elements are well ensured by the employer, then everyone is responsible for health and safety. Everyone is even accountable, that once we have provided safe place of work, plant and equipment, systems of work, even training, supervision, and competency of staff is well ensured, then nobody can say, oh, safety is not my responsibility. The lame excuse, oh, safety is only the responsibility of safety department or the safety officer, which is a misconception in the market. Everyone is responsible for safety. Now, Article 10 of Recommendation 164 says what? Employers are responsible to provide and maintain workplaces like machinery and equipment and use working methods that are safe. Now, give necessary instruction, training, and supervision in application and use of health and safety measures. So, they are responsible for safe workplaces. They are responsible for training, supervision, organizational arrangements relevant to activities, and even size of undertaking. They are responsible to provide not only PPs, I would say appropriate, suitable PPs and clothing without charge to the workers. One of the Filipino guy, he was wearing this, NIOSH approved air purification respirator. So I asked him, how come you got this? Do you have friendship with the safety manager? So he mentioned, no, sir, if company doesn't care about my life, does not mean I should start killing myself. So I'm working in a printing section. So, a lot of ink, thinner, retarder, and certain chemicals are being mixed, and I know how dangerous they are. So that is why I purchased this respirator from my own pocket. And it's a terrible legal violation because employer is responsible to provide suitable, appropriate PPs according to the nature of the process of the project to their employees actually. And they must not charge anything to the workers. Now, ensure that work organization, particularly working hours and rest break, does not adversely affect occupational safety and health. No, this is another phenomenon. If you calculate, if you have 50 employees from India, from Nepal, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, and you are giving them 12 hours shift every day, like 6 to 6, and 1 hour might be travel to the site and back to the residence, or maybe 2 hours sometime. So 14 hours already gone out of 24 hours per day. Now, rest of the hours, are they sufficient for cooking, for washing the cloth, for talking to their family, for spending some time with friends, and having better sleep to avoid sleeping disorder? The very next day, they are going to again work on the project. So this kind of all things, your break time, your rest hours must be compatible in line with Article 10 of Recommendation 164. Now, take reasonably practical measures with a view to eliminating excessive physical and mental fatigue, and keep up to date with scientific and technical knowledge to comply with the above. So, guys, I hope you understood if we benchmark international standards and we give these references within our, like every year we have a review of our policies or procedures, or whenever we have a major change, we definitely review, our policies and procedures. And that is the right time to give some, if you are complying, so no harm to give these references also within your procedures. And that will give a better solid picture of your brand, like as a Sadara, that you are not only following local regulations, even international standards, you are also respecting a lot. But make sure you give that reference within your policies and procedures, even not only for the exam I'm talking about. Exam, of course, to pass the exam, we are forcing on it. But I'm talking to your internal procedures. No harm to give all these references. If they are complying, if you are complying all these clauses or articles, Same way, Article 19 of C-155 also places obligations on workers. So it's a parallel, both way. If employees are responsible, as a worker, we are also responsible. And what are our responsibilities? Take reasonable care of their own safety and that of other people also. So we can prepare a notice, as per Article number 19 and C-155 or R-64, everyone is responsible for their own safety. We can put that slogan everywhere in the notice board, through emails, on website. Let our all employees be familiar that their safety is first of all their responsibility as per Ilo Conventions and regulations or recommendations. Comply with safety instructions and procedures. Use all safety equipment properly. Report any situation that they believe could be a hazard and which they can't themselves correct. So reporting is also any abnormality, any unsafe condition is there, or any problem with the machine or equipment, they are responsible to report. Report any work-related accident or ill health. I mean, if someone is sick and he's not reporting and still at the job site, all other persons could be in danger zone also, especially if coronavirus is there, God forbid. That is why now we have more security checks, more detailed security checks, and we are checking plenty of documentation to double check and make sure no affected person is going inside or mixing with our existing healthy employees. Same way, Article 19 of Convention 155 states that the worker must be what? Given adequate information on actions the employer has taken to ensure safety and health, given the right to the necessary training in safety and health, consulted by the employees on all matters of safety and health relating to their work. Even it is also given the right to leave or workplace that he has reason to think presence, this an imminent and serious danger to his life and health, and not be compelled to return until it is safe. So now, if we remember these article numbers, so we can talk with reference in our safety meetings, in toolbox meetings, even in writing, whenever we are writing an email, oh, we should do this, we should follow this. So we can give reference article number this, convention number this, or GI of Saudi Aramco number this, or Royal. I hope you got the point. So the more reference-based communication you would have, the solid cooperation you'll get from your top management even, inshallah. And Sadara is already a good brand, mashallah. I hope you're not facing such challenges. So no harmonized global standard. Country-specific agencies may include Health and Safety Enforcement Agency, Fire Authority, insurance companies. Police may be involved in enforcing health and safety law in some countries. And that is why Saudi Arabia is seriously thinking to bring Ministry of Interior also getting involved in health and safety implementations or even inspections, because what they are evaluating, public safety is not on the roads only. Public safety, even within the companies, are very much important. That is why for implementing precautions and controls against COVID-19, Ministry of Interior and Police in cooperation with the, Ministry of Health, all are supporting to each other. just to enforce health and safety law. But still we have to bear in mind the breach of any health and safety legislation is usually a criminal offense leading to enforcement action like improvement, prohibition, or prosecution. That is why you will see several safety professionals, they are behind the bars. Because might be they ignored their responsibilities and it is proven that that was their negligence as a safety leader. Even the top management, they're going to say, okay, catch our safety manager, you know, or the officer, the supervisor, because he didn't fulfill his responsibility. But anyhow, this is more serious case, especially in Western countries, but in Middle East, still flexibility we are having, you know, in different countries actually, but not in Saudi Arabia, remember that. Because very soon you will see more actions, you know, not only from Baladia, not only from civil defense, not only from Madon, even Ministry of Interior, including police would also be involved, you know, to ensure public safety everywhere. But remember, this breach of any health and safety legislation means there would be enforcement action, can be like improvement or prohibition, prosecution, organization may be fined, or individuals may be fined or imprisoned. The two-way enforcement action and prosecution. Now, how ISO is helping us? International Organization for Standardization. It is a kind of a world's largest developer of management standards. Like ISO 9001 is quality management, and ISO 14001 environmental management. Same way we have ISO 12100 safety of machinery. Same way ISO 45001 occupational health and safety, and plenty of other standards are there. So these standards are not law, by the way. They are good management practices. It's up to us, we want to benchmark them, but nobody can bound us. But mostly customer, they ask, you know, where are your ISO certifications? Send us your ISO certification. So then they will accept the deal or maybe the bidding application also for any project. Now they lead to a worldwide common approach to good management. So no harm to follow or benchmark ISO standards and develop your procedures, policies, formats, everything according to these standards and implement them effectively and comply and give references. Rest of all the standards you can give references within the same procedure, you know. And now as a consultant, I'm mostly motivating the companies for IMS. IMS means integrated management system. So if you want to integrate 3 or 4 different standards, integrate them all together. If you're developing one procedure, let's take an example of training, that there must be training of employees and all that. Now, ISO 45001 also saying the same thing. 9001 also have one clause for this one. And same way 14001 as well. API Q1 or 29001 also says the same like ISO 29001. So what I'm saying is, by preparing one procedure, you are complying several different standards. So why don't you write? Why don't you give that reference in the bottom line? Look, our procedure is complying these international standards or local standards, you know, and it will give a better solid, I would say, credibility or kind of importance to your procedures, and even value in front of auditors, in front of your customers. So maybe you can, whenever you have a review of your policies and procedures, think about this idea, what I shared with all of you. Give maximum references, but make sure you are complying. You are complying those standards, not like just for namesake, you're going to mention you. Now, there is another one, international recognized standard for occupational health and safety, currently like 45001, and it is compatible with 9001 and ISO 14001. But if you have a food companies, then ISO 22000 food safety management system can also be integrated. If you are in oil and gas, ISO 29001 can also be integrated because that is relevant to oil and gas management system. So same way, if you are in medical field, like, you know, kind of medical instruments, so ISO 13485 can also be integrated. So what I mean is, as per the nature of your business or processes, you can get the relevant standard and integrate and prepare what? The IMS, Integrated Management System, less documentation, less cost to certification, more easier to understand for people. And also your life would be more easier. That is why mostly we are getting projects for IMS, because we are giving this awareness to the market. The problem is sometimes market is unaware what are the real benefits. Like if you are getting separate certification for 9001, a huge cost, separate certification for 14001, separate for 45001. So 3 costs getting together, a cumulative cost would be so high. And this higher cost is also a problem. The top management even don't want to listen us because we are giving very expensive ideas to them. So they don't want to hear us. That's why they don't call us frequently for meetings. We are the one running behind them, motivating them and making sure at least with minimum resources, we are complying all the requirements. Okay, guys. So now my question is, have you ever studied even a single international standards like 45,001 or 14,001 or 9,001? If not, I will share in the WhatsApp group, inshallah. So whenever you get time, anytime in future, so at least one time you can study, and then I'm sure you'll be happy. The way they structured all the clauses, and through that structure, you can restructure your documentation level within your company, inshallah, if you are responsible for that. These are some of the references like Health and Safety Executive UK, like www.hsc.gov.uk. We have Occupational Safety and Health Administration USA, www.osha.gov. We can go to European Agency for Safety and Health at Work, EU, osha.europa.eu.en, and WorkSafe Western Australia also, commerce.gov.au and WorkSafe. So we have certain links. Now, an important group discussion. An employee has been injured at work. Identify the direct cost of the accident and indirect cost of the accident. Look at the picture, and please in the chat box, I would appreciate your reply on it. What is the direct cost? You can see the picture. Someone is slipped off, fell down from the stair. So what are the direct cost of this accident? Direct cost of this accident. Some examples, please. Even though we discussed earlier, but still let's have some refresh and recheck our memory. I'm waiting for your reply in the chat box, please. Now let's talk about indirect cost. Indirect cost, please. Now, mashallah, since you are on the right track, now can you find out the reference from ILO, from OSHA, from HSC UK, from even Nebosh theories, where it is mentioned what are the examples of direct cost and what are the examples of indirect cost? How they have defined it actually. Can you find that reference? Because in 24 hours, that's why they gave 24 hours, because we have to be very much solid and faster in browsing and searching the right set of references also. Whatever we are writing, it must be in line with some standards. I hope you got the point. So can you find out the reference where it is mentioned, oh, this is direct cost examples, or these are indirect cost examples from ILO, from anywhere, from OSHA, even from your local Saudi standards. Let's see who gave us these references. Yeah, Mr. Abdulaziz, thank you very much for giving OSHA reference. But which OSHA regulation? Can you give that specific number or CFR or, you know? Any clause number, any article number? From OSHA? So my friend, this is the only challenge. Whatever you will be giving answer, even in line with the scenario, you have to prove it with some references. And the more solid and relevant references you will refer, inshallah, nobody can deny to give you maximum marks, inshallah. And also, this is the way to be a better safety professional, by understanding and discussing reference based. Excellent, mashallah. That's given by Muhammad Al-Ghamdi, mashallah, all the references. I'll share one list of all the references also, which will help you, inshallah. So that is all about the end of module 1.2, like what are the two main standards that the ILO has produced for health and safety, and what do countries do with these standards. And I hope now you remember the conventions and the recommendations. Convention is C155 and recommendation is 164 or 164. Same way, what are the responsibilities under R164? The answer is already there. Or even you can search directly on the ILO website. So the good thing about the new trend of exam is you don't need to remember so many things. And it's hard to remember everything, by the way. So what is the good thing? You can search, you can find the reference and talk according to the standards, and even implement things according to the standards. Now, what are the employer's responsibilities or employees' responsibilities under recommendation 164? We discussed already what action could be taken against organization breaking health and safety law. Like, you remember we discussed two set of actions are there: enforcement action and prosecution. So we have recommendation like our conventions 155 and recommendation 164, and different article numbers are also there. So I will share this presentation also. It will help you to even in the exam, inshallah. So who does what in the organization? Now let's talk about the responsibilities. What are the responsibilities of employer? The employer basically is a person or organization that employs people. The employer in this context is normally an organization, such as a company, and it's sometimes referred to as the corporate body. They are a legal person. No, responsibility of employer as per ILO Convention C155 or ILO recommendation R164, we discussed earlier already. But the major responsibility is, yes, Mr. Abdulaziz, you want to discuss something?
Yeah, regarding to the references, and if we search in the online, most of the websites, it will give us like we have to subscribe or to pay something to get the resources. So are you going to provide us with resources so we can do researches without going through this?
I'm with you. You don't need to worry about anything.
The resources.
I will share everything with you, but I'm just trying to give you some practice time, how to browse, how to search. The rest of the things I'll be keep sharing through WhatsApp group, inshallah. So you don't need to do anything, by the way. But why I'm doing this practice at least?
No, it's a good thing, but I was wondering on the websites they're asking for subscriptions. So most of these. So if you provide, it will be very good.
We have everything, in box. So don't worry for that. Okay. Because that's our regular job. So we truly need to keep up to date all the way, But anyhow, the ultimate responsibility of the employer is to ensure the workplace is safe and free of health risk rest with the employer. And that is what conventions, ILO convention and recommendations are saying. Now, the employer's ultimate responsibility for ensuring the workplace is safe, same thing again and again, ensure the safety of workers and others like visitors and contractors. Now, the point is all stakeholders, all interested parties, whoever is coming to our side, we are responsible for their safety. No doubt, they are also responsible for their own safety, but we, as a territorial ownership, we have for that land. So, of course, that is why, you know, Aramco is a big brand, big company, but still they have induction programs. And they either you are the visitors, you are the contractor, they provide you induction, they give you some safety understanding, you know, about their site, and then they allow you. Even after that, you need permit, a lot of documentation to be fulfilled. Just they want to make sure you are the right person for the right job. Okay, now directors and senior managers, what are their responsibilities? First of all, give an organization its direction. They have to lead by example. They have to give a better direction, one way, one focus, one goal, and make sure the organization is going to be more and more successful. And they are the ones setting their priorities, you know, and allocate resources and appoint competent persons. Now, here I can create a question. What do you think, my friends? What is the difference between trained, certified, qualified, and competent person? I repeat again, what is the difference between trained, certified, and qualified? And experience, we all know, oh, gentleman is experienced, that he can do this job with better shape, you know. I'm repeating again, what is the difference between trained, certified, and qualified person? Whatever your understanding, just let me understand, you know, how you elaborate it.
Maybe trains already attended training, and certified, you already take the examination.
Okay, what else? So take your example of today, you know, like you are attending this training and you attended all 12 days or 10 days. So still we will issue one certificate. Okay, Mr. Ahmed, Mr. Muhammad, they have attended 12 days Nebosh training with our institute and they did this, you know, that is the ICAMA ID or, you know, the ID number and all that. But that would be just certificate of attendance. But it shows that you are trained. You attended a training, but you didn't appear in the exam actually. But once you appear in the exam and now you passed that exam, then you became IGC certified person, like International General Certificate holder and certified by a accredited body like NEBOSH, because they are the examination board, right? So they are identifying you as a certified or recognizing you as a certified person, certified safety professional. Now, still you're not acceptable in different locations or at different projects. No, they really want to see either you can pass their exam, their criteria, their hiring requirements. Are you meeting with that? Like, let's take an example of Saudi Aramco. If you go and say, okay, look, I'm Nebosh IGC certified, accept me as a safety officer. They will not. Saudi Aramco will not. What they're going to do is, look, gentlemen, we have our own examination, somewhat interviews also, pass both, show us some experience also, and then we will qualify you that you are a qualified safety professional for our projects. So qualification, until you become qualified, market will not give you so much respect. Remember that one, because there is a misconception, oh, I have completed NEBOSH IGC, now immediately my career should be state of the art, and because I have completed NEBOSH IGC. Like in your case, mashallah, you have experience. Now you are doing IGC, you change your job even tomorrow, you can join as a safety manager to any other brand, because you have experience, and that is the foundational requirement to be qualified, and you have a proven successful project participation in different companies or at different projects of Sadara, right? So in that context, it is reliable all the way and more credible. So trained, certified, and qualified. So market is looking for qualified people, and that is the key intention of Saudi government also, as per their 2030 vision. They need expatriates, they need non-Saudis, but the qualified one, not the one they are just simply trained or having some sort of informations and working as an engineer or working as a, and killing their economy or putting their safety in trouble. Every country required, even the well-established, globally successful countries, they still need expatriates, but the qualified one, the competent one. That's why NEBOSH clearly mentioned, allocate resources and appoint competent persons. A person who is knowledgeable, skillful, and also can execute the skill set the way he learned actually. And based on their experience also, it's a combination. And then we can consider, oh, this gentleman is competent. Like you have train operator certification, but you can't operate a train. If you have a crane operator, just idea is there, but unfortunately he is unable to operate the crane safely, and more incidents and accidents are happening. Will you accept him? Of course not. So that is why it's kind of major responsibility, especially on the shoulders of HR, human resources, to make sure they are hiring competent or highly qualified people for the right person for the right job. And based on that, you will allocate responsibilities. Now you don't need to teach them. They are competent. You just allocate responsibilities, and from the day one, they started their job because they know how to do it. And also are responsible for ensuring that all of the legal requirements are met. It's again a very sensitive responsibility on the shoulders of directors. Make sure all legal compliance and requirements are being met. So top management, like managing director and under managing directors, the directors are there, then the managers or the general managers, and then the managers, then supervisors, foreman. It all depends how you prepare your organizational hierarchy. But remember this, directors and senior managers can have enormous influence over their organization and its priorities. In this bad time, during this pandemic, the top leadership is exposed. I repeat again, during this pandemic, the highly qualified and the leaders of good times, they all are exposed, because the real leadership, you can have an opportunity in crisis time, in bad times that the organization is facing some challenges. That is the time to show your real leadership skills and keep that success momentum of your organization, even though it will knee down, some economical impact will be there, but still you are the one going to see the light in the darkness actually. So you must have a can-do attitude in bad times especially. That is why it is so much important, how you as a director influencing the whole organization. The way they perceived by the lower management or by lower in the management hierarchy is very important. They must demonstrate clear commitment and leadership with regard to the health and safety. Now, you can go back and see who signed your safety policy. The general manager of Sadara, or the managing director, or the CEO of Sadara, or the president of Sadara? Whoever signed that safety policy, with some humbleness, dare to ask, sir, you have signed this policy. Have you ever read even a single time what is written inside the policy? 99.99%, my friends, you will get the answer, no. Because as a safety auditor, already I have evaluated in several companies. I've been working, visiting as a trainer, and I was in more than 3,000 companies, So I have a live practical examples actually. Like whoever signed the policy have never read even for a single time what is written inside. While policy is a direction, is a kind of commitment, it's a promise that the top management is giving a promise to the market, to all the stakeholders, that we will ensure better safe work environment. We will not violate any legal laws. We will make sure our customers are happy with us. We will make sure no violation of environmental standards. We'll make sure zero injuries or zero accidents, within our companies. We'll make sure safety on the job and even off the job. So we claim so many things in the policy, but unfortunately, in real sense, it's not implemented, it's not ensured. Yes, AB, I totally agree. The leadership engagement should be effective, and they have to lead by example. I mean, ask your president or the CEO when last time he visited any of the Sadara projects. If he didn't visit, he's not leading by example as per international standards. As per current international standards, he's not leading by example. Because you as a top management leader have to lead by example, and then trickle down effect will be there. Automatically, people would love to follow safety regulations. If you as a director, or you as a general manager, or you as a president are not following safety rules or not respecting safety regulations, who else will, That is why a very poor self-realization we are facing. And you can see in my emotions also, because I know what challenges sometimes we face, and we try to convince people, oh, safety is important. Please at least follow minimum requirements. Don't follow hi-fi ideal safety requirements, but at least minimum safety requirements, please follow. Otherwise, try an accident and see the consequences, Yes, excellent, AB. Walk the talk, mashallah. Great. But yes, great talkers, nothing doers. Sometimes we talk so many things, but the real evaluation is your action. So you can observe your top leadership through their actions, Either they are sitting in the management review meetings, either they are involving in your safety meetings. Have they chaired any toolbox meeting anytime, even single time? Are they attending all your drills, like fire drills or emergency evacuation drills? How they are? If they all are involved, it's a great commitment. Otherwise, we need to motivate. For this sake, I myself developed one course. We call it Effective Safety Leadership. Effective Safety Leadership. And this course basically we designed for the general managers, for the managing directors, for the presidents, because you are so much knowledgeable. But check the knowledge of your GM and you'll be shocked. They have no idea what is ISO, what is OSHA stand for, what is the NEBOSH is all about, why we are getting all these things. They have no idea, to be very honest. But they have idea how to expand business, how to make money, how to move on with their business expansion plans. But in fact, about safety regulations, they have very few information. And that is why their commitment is, not in Sadara, but in most of the developing companies, they are facing terrible issues from the top management itself. Now, the second phase is the middle managers, the supervisor. I call them executor. The directors are the policy makers, or they are the one approving the policies and procedures. But now we need operational, middle managers who will execute and implement and make sure whatever direction is given by the directors, they all are following, and they are making sure all health and safety standards are operational and under control as well. But under managers, they need support from the supervisors also. And again, the managers have again leading by example. It's not like taking responsibilities from the directors and just throwing on the shoulders of the supervisors. And your personal involvement, again, zero, only sitting in the office. This is not the way. You need to learn how to make your hand dirty and be on site, get involved with the people. Don't do risk assessment by yourself only. Get involved to the welder, get involved to the web painter. They are spending maximum time within their processes. So they not better, what risk or what, kind of things can happen terribly throughout the shift actually. So you can consult with them and complete the risk assessment. Even at some level, we guide, let them do risk assessment by themselves. You just support as an advisory services provider, and later you can review either they have done it accurately in line with the standards or still something, or at least you be the silent observer there, instead of doing everything by yourself. Now, Article 17 of Convention 155 or Recommendation 164, Recommendation 11. Again, employers have shared responsibility, and that include what? Sharing of procedures, fire and emergency response, sharing of risk assessments. It's not like everything keeping in our files, Like if you have risk assessment display everywhere, email to relevant department, tell them to understand these are your current controls against each hazard, against each risk, as per the probability ratings, as per the evaluation. Now, if you have other recommendations, share with us. We can improve further controls, but we don't want to see any accident. Joint management committee meetings could also be another responsibility, the share responsibilities, as per the Convention 155, Article 17, and Recommendation R 164, Recommendation 11. Now, contractor management, how are we gonna deal with our contractors? If a client can be held responsible for an injury caused by a contractor working for the client, then it must be the client's own best interest to ensure that the contractors do not endanger workers. We are, not Sadara, because I know Sadara very well. I have several friends there. So your system is solid, how you hire the contractors, how you evaluate them, how you make sure they're the right contractor for the right job. Even your disqualification system is brilliant, But I'm giving an example of some of the, again, developing companies. Their hiring criteria for the contractor is horrible. I mean, their employees are still okay with that, but unfortunately, the subcontractor employees, they simply damn care what is safety is all about. Might be their job is only for 2 days or might be for 5 days. So don't expect that they will follow all your safety regulations, But yes, if you supervise, monitor them, getting involved, leading by example again, encouraging them in the induction program that you will not accept any violation relevant to safety, then might be some seriousness you can see even with the short period of time, because mostly contractors, they are coming for very few days, and if they are coming for 6 months or 1 year, still you have time to train them properly. So shared duties, again, is client managers contractor can be broken down into 3 areas: selection of contractors, planning and coordinating the work, and monitoring and managing the work. So 3 domains: selection of contractors. Now here, if I create a question, how Sadara select the contractors? What is the procedure? What are the procedural steps you follow before you hire or before you accept any contractor? What is your selection criteria for contractors? I would appreciate if you can highlight, even you can take an example of your safety relevant contractors. Maybe some third-party companies are coming for third-party inspections, maybe some fire safety inspections, maybe some pest control, maybe some are coming for H2S or air analysis, maybe some noise analysis. So you take your contractors examples and let me know, how do you hire them? How do you select them? How do you select?
We are not involved in HNS contractor. We are a compliance, but as far as I know, there is some steps they going through from the HNS contractor side as a pre-qualification. They will have certain meetings with the contractor to find the HSC plan for them, and they will meet the company requirement or not. And as per the pre-qualification, they will go to the qualification part, which is continue inspecting their equipment and to finalize it to enter the Sadar site.
Excellent, mashallah. So this is what I asked actually. So your procurement department is involved. They have a list of contractors, or they have a list from Saudi Aramco of all the contractors. We all are in the database. So we select the contractors, but still pre-qualification requirement as a customer, we also put on their shoulders and we make sure they are the right person for the right job. And based on that, no harm to verify their history, like Mr. Muhammad Al-Ghamdi mentioned, because history means their brand value in the market. And most importantly, which is the ignoring part I noted in the market, we accept all the documentation, but we never visit the contractor site, their offices, to see the physical strength, either they are present as a brand in a good shape, or they just very much attractive only in documentation. I hope you got the point. So this is the missing element, what I personally noted. Whenever I ask as an auditor, have you visited the contractor, or you just simply hired them based on their documentation? And mostly say yes, based on the relationships. Even documentation comes later, We hire contractors mostly, it was referred by Mr. Muhammad, it was referred by Mr. Al-Ghamdi, So this is kind of things, sometimes you observe. But if someone is hired based on reference, don't expect that he will be performing the way you are expecting. Even you are hiring through reference, double check the way the process you mentioned, mashallah. If this is happening for each contractor, is excellent. These are the good steps. And also no harm to ask them your existing clients, your success stories, the projects you have executed successfully within your city or within other cities or within your country even. So this list of projects, executed projects successfully, you can verify, you can call 1 or 2 clients and they will, or you can check their certificate, the completion, project completion certificates, from the client. And through this way, you try your level best to make sure they're the right person for the right jobs. And still you required planning and coordinating the work and monitoring and managing the work. So monitoring still your responsibility, It's not like everything you rely on your contractors, and they will not take care the way you will take care of your company. Now, selection of criteria, what Nebosh is saying, these are the things minimum you need to check. No harm to verify their health and safety policy, their risk assessments, qualifications and training records, membership of professional organization, like legal, all their registrations and everything, maintenance and equipment testing, previous or current clients and accident records, enforcement accident record, resources. Either you are responsible or you are not responsible. Whoever is responsible, at least these minimum things, they must verify before they hire any contractor or before they select any contractor. Now, planning and coordinating, how you have to coordinate, hazards posed by the site and work carried out. You need to work with the contractor, hazards posted by the contractor's activities. That is why the moment we get any project with Saudi Aramco, what we do joint set inspections, we have JSA, we sign work permit, we tick mark so many things, we make sure isolation and lockout tagout is done successfully, we make sure the HIP, hazard identification plan, is well developed. We also make sure the ERP, emergency response plan, and sometimes they ask where are the IDs of the qualified engineers or the staff members before they sign the permit. Even authorized gas tester, their IDs, or if crane operators, their IDs. So a lot of things we just double check and then we issue the permit. I mean, this is how we have to get involved. So risk assessments and method statements can also be verified for each process, for each activity. Arrangement between the client and contractor, ensuring activities don't conflict, and also permit to work system to control activities. This permit to work system, so much important because we have project oriented approach. So whenever we have project oriented approach, this work permit system will be a great help to execute each process or activity safely, inshallah, without any injuries or accident. Monitor or managing the work, client must monitor the work to ensure safety, and the client can stop the work if it involves unsafe practices. Auditing against agreed method statement is a good technique. So as a client, be involved, don't 100% trust. Don't be blindly trusting, to your contractors. So this is the element number one. With summary, we discussed a lot of things, especially related to health, safety, welfare. We highlighted three main reasons why safety is important to manage. We discussed about Ilo Conventions and recommendations, also consequences, for employees and workers for non-compliance of legal standards. We also discussed about the sources of information like references, how we can find out the standards. And also we identified various parties within the outside of the workplace and the responsibilities that they have. And also the client has the management of contractor as a responsible customer, and how they're going to plan and monitor their work. So that was all about element number one. Now, in the WhatsApp group, I will share several references, and what you have to do, just click and see the number of standards and everything, and how to find the article number. And if you can research something productive, no harm to share with that. So let's work and support each other, inshallah. Now, just one thing is important here. Before we start our day two, I'm going to share one scenario-based kind of exam, but questions will be in line with this element number one. Now, instead of writing or copy pasting, I want to create by myself. Imagine you are a safety manager in a company, ABC, okay? And you found a forklift which was leaking. And because of that leaking, one gentleman, one employee was slipped off and he got injured. There was a severe bleeding because of terrible head injury. Now, the company clearly have safety policies and procedures well communicated with all the employees. They have shared responsibilities with all the departments, even though they only have safety officer in shape of you. Now, in line with this scenario, do you think what are the responsibilities of employer and what are the responsibilities of employees? And most importantly, how you will make sure that the company have following some local or international regulations. With this small scenario, let me know how you will answer these two questions. I repeat again, forklift was leaking. Because of that leaking, one employee was slipped off and there was a severe head injury. And later stage, the company no doubt have policies and procedures, but unfortunately, these policies and procedures are violated. So in that shape, how would you answer these two questions? Consider it's kind of an exam. So let me know your answer. Take your time and you just need to reply in the chat box, and you have 10 minutes for that. Let's see how you will respond to that. So let's do some practice actually.
Okay, I think some of the guys missed the questions. Can you please repeat the question again? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. We got to that.
I'm trying to mentioning the scenario as well as the questions. Okay, don't worry.
Okay, we got it. Thank you. Sorry, but our focus now is in the minimum because,
No, I can understand. Thank you very much for your great patience, because I know it's not easy to sit for 4 hours, for online trainings. Yeah.
No problem.
So, Doctor, so now we read the question. So what is the required thing from us?
Yeah.
Because we know you mentioned you are the safety officer. So what do you want us, the immediate action that we'll take, and what is the implementation plan to avoid such incident, or what?
No, I'm writing the questions. First of all, you need to mention employees' responsibilities in line with this scenario are sufficient or not. This is number one question. Okay. And the answer will not be accepted in yes or no. You need to prove it with your statements and because 3,000 words, in the final exam, you are supposed to write. So give some insights in line with the scenario and also some references as per Ilo, as per OSHA, or it's up to you, or even as per NEBOSH. I shared some links in the WhatsApp group as well. Now, the second question I'm going to write. Is the health and safety system of that company need to optimized? Or updated? So these two questions are there. Now take your time and you can give the answer.